Imagine living in a city with 50,000 roommates. A city where every resident has a job. Some are nurses, some are builders, some are guards, some spend their entire lives gathering food. And at the center of it all is a single queen whose survival determines the fate of the entire colony. This isn't a science fiction movie. It's happening right now inside an ordinary beehive. From the outside, a beehive looks simple, just a box in a field or a cluster hanging from a tree. But inside, it's one of the most organized societies on Earth. Thousands of bees work together every second of every day. They build massive honeycomb structures, raise thousands of babies, produce food, defend against invaders, regulate temperature, and communicate through an incredible language of movement. And the most surprising part? No single bee is in charge. So how does a beehive actually work? Let's go inside and find out. The colony. A healthy beehive can contain anywhere from 20,000 to over 60,000 bees. At first glance, that sounds chaotic. Imagine thousands of individuals moving around in every direction inside a crowded space. But somehow, everything works. That's because every bee belongs to one of three groups: the queen, the workers, and the drones. Each has a different role, and together they form a highly organized society. Let's start with the most important bee in the hive, the queen bee. Most people think the queen rules the hive like a king or queen rules a kingdom. But that's not exactly true. The queen doesn't tell other bees what to do. She doesn't give orders. She doesn't control daily operations. Her primary job is much simpler. She lays eggs. Lots of eggs. In fact, during peak season, a queen bee can lay up to 2,000 eggs in a single day. That's more eggs than her own body weight. Every worker bee, every drone, and every future queen starts as one of these tiny eggs. The queen is also responsible for producing special chemicals called pheromones. These pheromones act like messages that spread throughout the hive. They help maintain order and let the colony know that the queen is healthy and alive. As long as the queen remains healthy, the colony remains stable. But if she dies or becomes weak, everything changes. The workers immediately begin preparing a replacement. Because without a queen, the hive cannot survive for long. But how does a queen become a queen in the first place? Surprisingly, she starts out exactly like every other female bee. The difference is her diet. Future queens are fed a special substance called royal jelly throughout their development. This nutrient-rich food triggers dramatic changes. The result is a larger bee capable of reproducing, a true queen. Worker bees. Now let's meet the real workforce of the hive, worker bees. Almost every bee you see flying around flowers is a worker bee. And here's something many people don't know. Worker bees are female. In fact, nearly all of the bees in a hive are female workers. These bees perform almost every task needed to keep the colony alive. What's even more amazing is that their jobs change as they age. Young worker bees begin life inside the hive. One of their first jobs is cleaning. Every empty cell must be spotless before it can be used again. After that, some become nurse bees. These workers feed and care for developing larvae. Thousands of baby bees depend on them every day. As they grow older, workers take on new responsibilities. Some produce wax and build honeycomb. Others store honey. Some process incoming nectar. Others act as security guards at the hive entrance. Finally, during the last stage of their lives, workers become foragers. These are the bees we most often see. They leave the hive searching for nectar, pollen, water, and plant resins. It's dangerous work. Many never return. Yet every day thousands head out again. Without them, the colony would starve. The drones. The third group in the hive is called drones. Unlike worker bees, drones are male. And their lives are very different. Drones do not gather nectar. They do not build honeycomb. They do not defend the hive. They don't even have stingers. Their main purpose is to mate with a queen. That's it. During mating season, drones leave the hive and gather in special areas where queens may fly. If a drone successfully mates with a queen, his role is complete. If he doesn't, he continues trying. As winter approaches, worker bees often force drones out of the hive. Since food becomes scarce, the colony can no longer support bees that don't contribute to survival. Nature can be harsh, but for the hive, survival comes first. Building the honeycomb. One of the most impressive structures in nature is the honeycomb. Every hexagonal cell is built by worker bees. But why hexagons? Why not circles or squares? The answer is efficiency. Hexagons use space incredibly well. They allow bees to store the maximum amount of honey while using the minimum amount of wax. It's like nature's version of perfect engineering. Worker bees produce wax from special glands on their bodies. Tiny flakes of wax emerge and are shaped into honeycomb cells. Over time, thousands of workers create vast networks of perfectly aligned chambers. These chambers serve many purposes. Some store honey, some store pollen. Others act as nurseries for developing bees. Every part of the honeycomb has a purpose. Nothing is wasted. How bees make honey. Honey is the colony's food supply. It's what allows bees to survive when flowers aren't available. The process begins when foragers visit flowers. Using their long tongues, they collect nectar. The nectar is stored inside a special honey stomach. Once back at the hive, the nectar is passed from bee to bee. During this process, enzymes begin transforming the nectar. Eventually, the liquid is placed into honeycomb cells, but it's still too watery. To solve this problem, worker bees fan their wings. Thousands of tiny wings create airflow throughout the hive. As water evaporates, the nectar thickens. Eventually, it becomes honey. When the honey reaches the right consistency, workers seal the cell with wax. Now it's ready for storage. The hive has successfully created food for the future. Raising the next generation. Deep inside the hive are thousands of nurseries. This is where new bees are raised. The queen lays an egg inside a honeycomb cell. After a few days, the egg hatches into a larva. The larva looks nothing like a bee. It's a tiny white creature that spends nearly all of its time eating. Nurse bees constantly feed it. As it grows, the larva eventually spins a cocoon and enters the pupal stage. Inside the sealed cell, a remarkable transformation takes place. Legs develop, wings form, eyes appear. The larva slowly becomes an adult bee. After several days, the new bee chews its way out of the cell and joins the colony. A new worker has entered the workforce, and the cycle continues. Communication through dancing. How do thousands of bees coordinate their activities? How does a bee tell others where to find food? The answer sounds almost unbelievable. They dance. When a forager discovers a rich source of nectar, she returns to the hive and performs a movement known as the waggle dance. The direction of the dance tells other bees where the flowers are located. The length of the dance indicates distance. The more enthusiastic the dance, the better the food source. By watching this performance, other bees can fly directly to the correct location. It's one of the most sophisticated communication systems ever discovered in insects. Imagine giving someone directions using only movement. That's exactly what bees do. Defending the hive. A hive contains enormous amounts of valuable resources: honey, pollen, developing larvae. Because of this, many animals would love to raid it. That's why worker bees serve as guards. At the entrance, guard bees inspect incoming visitors. If an intruder is detected, they respond immediately. Their primary weapon is the stinger. Unlike wasps, honeybees usually die after stinging mammals because the stinger becomes lodged in the skin. It's the ultimate sacrifice, yet they do it willingly to protect the colony. Bees also release alarm pheromones when threatened. These chemicals alert nearby workers. Within seconds, more defenders arrive. What started as one guard can quickly become an entire defensive force. Temperature control. Here's something incredible. A beehive functions almost like a living air conditioning system. Developing baby bees require a very specific temperature. Too hot and they can die. Too cold and they may not develop properly. To solve this problem, worker bees regulate hive temperature. When conditions become hot, workers fan their wings to create airflow. Others bring water into the hive. Evaporation helps cool things down. When temperatures drop, bees cluster together and vibrate their flight muscles. This generates heat. Even during cold weather, the center of the colony can remain surprisingly warm. Thousands of bees working together create a climate-controlled environment. Swarming, when a hive divides. Eventually, a successful hive becomes crowded. When this happens, the colony may swarm. Swarming is how bees reproduce at the colony level. A new queen begins developing. Meanwhile, the old queen leaves the hive with thousands of workers. Together they form a massive flying cloud. The swarm temporarily gathers on a tree branch or other surface. Scout bees then search for a suitable new home. Once a location is chosen, the entire swarm moves in. A brand new colony is born. Meanwhile, the original hive continues under its new queen. One colony has become two. Why beehives matter. Bees do far more than produce honey. As they move from flower to flower, collecting nectar, they transfer pollen. This process is called pollination. Many fruits, vegetables, and crops depend on pollinators. Without bees, ecosystems would look very different. Food production would suffer. Plant populations would decline. Entire environments would change. The tiny workers inside a beehive play a massive role in supporting life across the planet. Conclusion. From the outside, a beehive seems simple, but inside is an extraordinary world. A queen laying thousands of eggs, workers building, cleaning, nursing, defending, and gathering food. Drones searching for a chance to pass on their genes. Perfect honeycomb architecture. Complex communication through dancing. And tens of thousands of individuals working together as if they were a single living organism. No mayor, no manager, no central control. Yet somehow, everything functions with incredible precision. The next time you see a bee flying through your backyard, remember this. It's not just an insect looking for flowers. It's a member of one of the most remarkable societies on Earth. And somewhere nearby, an entire hidden city is buzzing with life. Thank you for watching this video. Make sure to like and subscribe for more Hidden World videos.